Welcome back to the Motion Pics. The Jungle Book is the latest talking animal movie in a year that seems to be chock full of them. It's also the latest in a series of live-action remakes of classic Disney animations. Last year's Cinderella, which just happens to be the first film I reviewed on this channel and is linked in the description below, proved to be a successful translation from cartoon fantasy to respectable period piece. But this year's Jungle Book faced a greater challenge. How do you take the vibrant rollercoaster lunacy of juggling fruit and dancing animals from the original and translate it into live action? Well, you enlist Jon Favreau, the director of Iron Man. You provide him with a stellar cast, the best CGI money can buy, and a decent straightforward script. The story of said script follows a man cub named Mowgli, an energetic young boy who happens to be partial to jungle parkour. Raised by wolves since infancy, Mowgli loves the jungle. Unfortunately, the jungle doesn't feel the same way about him. You see, not all of the animals have taken a shine to his human antics, not least of which is the manophobe tiger Shere Khan. What's worse, the uncompromising feline can only satisfy his prejudice with his carnivorous tendencies. So it's up to Mowgli and his gentle panther guardian Bagheera to find a lasting sanctuary. Along the way, they find all kinds of colourful characters, and none more colourful, despite the colour of his fur, than Baloo the bear. Now, Mowgli is played by complete newcomer Neil Sethi, and it is one excellent child actor performance. I never got the impression that he was acting, he just seemed like a really energetic kid. It's actually quite a feat considering that most of the performance was in reaction to non-existent special effects. Bill Murray plays Baloo, who in this incarnation is more of a cross between Winnie the Pooh and the bear from The Revenant. And Bill Murray's performance more than makes up for his involvement in Garfield. Mental note, apologise to parents for making them watch that movie when I was a kid. Also noteworthy is Scarlett Johansson, once again showing off her voice acting chops as a hypnotic snake. But for me, the most memorable voice performance in the whole film came from Christopher Walken as King Louie the Eighth. I mean, this guy needs to play more animated characters. He just does. So I've talked about how the animals sound, but how do they look? Well, they don't look 100% convincing 100% of the time. I mean, most of the CGI is on par with that tiger from Life of Pi. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I look and I see CGI. They're not real animals to me. That said, the visuals do serve the story well. You see, if they were too realistic, that realism might have forced me to take the movie too seriously. I mean, it's not as light as the original. There's definitely less back scratching on trees and circus numbers involving mangoes. It pulls off a tricky balancing act between serious and fun, managing to be both exciting and dark. And that darkness comes mainly from the aforementioned Shere Khan. Man, that's one messed up tiger. His menacing growl comes from none other than Idris Elba, who seems to be enjoying himself in the role. But it's not all raw and no bite for this one. There are some genuine bursts of hard-hitting violence that might prove to be a bit too much for the youngest of viewers. Parents, you have been warned. That said, most of the film is a fairly tame experience. Speaking of experience, the version of the film I managed to see was in 3D. And I imagine you're probably asking, was it really worth it? Yes it was. I mean, if you want to save money, you're still getting the same movie in 2D, but the third dimension really gives you a sense of the depth of this jungle. And besides, it's always fun to have animals poking their faces out at you. Overall, I'd have to say that this incarnation of the Jungle Book was my cup of tea. Although I didn't give this film a higher rating, I was actually this close to doing so. In other words, I strongly recommend you check this out. Oh, and keep an ear out for some familiar tunes. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and hit subscribe for the full Motion Pics experience. Till next time.